Hey guys, so I'm here in my son's friend's Rav4, and we're gonna use this AUTOabc to get her CarPlay just like we did for his Mazda. If you click that video up there, you'll see the Mazda video. But today we're gonna install this on the 2018 Rav4. So let's give it a shot. Okay, so let's take a look at what's in the box. AUTOabc, CarPlay, Android Play, plug and play. Okay, user's manual. We'll look at that later. Okay, here's the device itself. Looks pretty simple. USB video, some ports, power can. I'm sure we'll figure out what those are. It's pretty nice packaging. All right. Oh, look, these wires come pre-wrapped. If you're wondering why they need this wrap, it's because when your car is driving, it vibrates, and if it's just a piece of wire, it's kind of hard, and it can actually make the vibration sounds in your dash that you can never find. So it's already pre-wrapped, so that's good. It looks like, it's pretty easy. You just plug in the Toyota cables into this, and then put these cables into this box. So here's the USB interface. This is where you put in your USB plug to get CarPlay or Android Auto. And this looks like that's the antenna. So I think it uses this Wi-Fi antenna right there. All right, simple enough. Let's give it a shot. All right, so to take off the dash, if you have these plastic pry tools, it'll really help. And we're gonna start with this part of the dash, and we're gonna start taking that off over there. Okay, good. So now we got that dash off. So the next part we need to do is take off these vent dashes. We got a phone holder that we're gonna take off, but same thing, we're gonna pry these things off too. Okay, do the same thing to this side. All right, just yank it off. And now from there, you're gonna expose these 10mm nuts right there. One there, one on this side. All right, so last thing, we need to take out this part right here, this trim. You should be able to just pull that off with your hands. There should be a pin down here that you push, and then you can take that off. Yeah, just go here on the back side. Okay, so let's take that out. So right here, this pin right here is what you need to push. See that? So you need to push that and get it out. Unplug that. Okay, now that will expose these two nuts. So let's remove all that, all those four, and then we can take out the stereo. Let's take off all these. Don't drop the screws, very important. There you go. Okay, so now we should be able to remove the stereo. All right, so now you're just gonna pull this out. All right, and there's gonna be wires back there. And those wires is what we're gonna need to disconnect. So I'm going to disconnect them, and you just squeeze the pins together. From there, you could remove the stereo. See that? You just push that tab down and pull it out. So we're gonna pull them all out. All right, now you got the stereo removed. Let's put that aside for now. All right, so let's plug the ports into the back of this. And we're gonna plug in the power port for that. All right, we're gonna plug in the power port. Okay, so now we have all these ports that we need to plug into the stereo. Okay, so now we're gonna plug all the ports. And these ports, there's only one that's going to fit. So you don't worry too much about not knowing where it goes. Toyota does a good job of just making it idiot proof so that you can't plug it in the wrong port. Okay, so we got those plugged in. So now these ones before will still go into the stereo like it did before. But now let's route the USB line underneath the dash so that we can access it. Okay, so we're not going to hook up the video camera, so that's not important to us, but we do want to route that USB through down there and down so that we could access the USB port. Okay, so we access the USB down there, and we're just going to leave it up there. For the most part, we're not going to use it. We're going to use wireless CarPlay, but that's for the wired version if you want, just in case for whatever reason wireless is not working. So now let's plug all this back into the stereo. We're going to put this guy down on the bottom, and we're going to hook up the GPS antenna. All right, so let's hook up the GPS antenna. I'm not sure if it's oh, it's the Wi-Fi antenna, not the GPS antenna. Okay, Wi-Fi antenna. And we'll just stuff it all down underneath there. So for the box, there should be plenty of room down there. It looks like there's a lot of room. We're going to throw the box, and it's going to sit underneath the stereo once everything's back in. So we're just going to find a place to put it nice and soft. Trying to avoid putting it on the metal because it might clang if it vibrates, but put it on wires or something. All right, so now let's start plugging everything back into the stereo. You know, some of the cables are a little short, so you got to bring the stereo to the cable. I just put a sweater underneath so that we don't scratch anything up while we're resting the stereo onto the dash. You know, there's some leather and stuff you don't want to cut. Right, there's quite a few cables, just get them all back in. And again, it only goes in one spot. Well, there's only one port that'll fit. This one, you forgot to take this one out. Is that everything? Okay, so now we're going to slide it back in. And it'll need to go in between those pegs right there. So you see this clips right there, so you're going to have to push it in, and it's going to have to click in. Remember, we put some effort pulling it out. You'll have to put some effort pushing it in. Okay? So now let's test the stereo, make sure it works before we put all the paneling back. All right, just in case it complains about that not being plugged in, we thought we'd plug that in. All right, so let's turn this on. Make sure everything works before we put all the dash back. It's rebooting. We got lights, that's a good thing. That's a good screen to have. All right, so we're syncing with the car. There's car Bluetooth, pair it, allow, all right. Now let's see if we could see the CarPlay on this screen.
What to do? Canceled.
Oh, look at that. Yes, sir. So you long press this voice button, and here you got your CarPlay Nice. It's just the audio. Okay, audio works. All right, I guess that's it. Let's put the dashboard back. All right, so this is the key button here. You press that for 2 seconds and you'll switch back to the car's system. Push it again. 2 seconds.
What would you like to do? Cancelled.
And there, you're back to CarPlay now. All right, looks like it's working. It's synced up, it's wireless. Let's put everything back. All right, get those screws back in. Everything's nice and tight, so now let's snap everything back in. Remember these tabs, just make sure that it goes back into the tabs of that hole right there. Okay, good, right there, those tabs. Let's get those vents back in. This one, just push in. Remember, we put a little force to take it out, so you're gonna need a little force to put it in. Okay, last piece. Okay, looks good. Let's get this dash cover back. All right, we're all set. So it's really that easy to get wireless CarPlay retrofitted into your Rav4 and other Toyotas too. There's a lot of Toyotas that this will work for. Again, I use this AUTOabc brand retrofit CarPlay. It has Android Auto too. I don't have an Android phone, but it does have Android Auto if you want to use that. So pretty cool. Now we got, you know, lifetime GPS, which is the main thing.